She told me her ex was dangerous, obsessive, wouldn't leave her alone. I believed her. I protected her. I even blocked his number from my own phone, just to be safe. Then I found their saved emails, and I realized the only person I needed protection from was her. I met Sarah at a coffee shop near campus. She was sitting alone reading, and there was something about the way she looked up when I asked if the chair across from her was taken, like she was genuinely surprised someone had noticed her. We talked for 2 hours that first day. She was studying literature, had this way of talking about books that made even the most boring classics sound like adventures. I was completely charmed. We'd been dating for about 6 weeks when she first mentioned Ryan. She brought him up casually, almost like she was testing the waters. "My ex has been texting me again," she said one evening while we were making dinner. "I keep hoping he'll just move on, but he's persistent." I asked if she wanted to talk about it, and that's when she told me the whole story. They'd dated for 2 years in college. He'd been controlling, jealous, couldn't handle the breakup. She'd blocked him on everything, changed her number twice, but he kept finding ways to contact her. New email addresses, fake social media accounts, showing up at places he knew she'd be. "He's not dangerous exactly," she said, stirring the pasta sauce a little too vigorously, "but he's intense. He thinks we're meant to be together, that I'm making a mistake by dating anyone else." I felt protective immediately. What kind of person harasses their ex like that? Sarah seemed so gentle, so vulnerable. The idea that someone was making her feel unsafe made me angry in a way I wasn't used to feeling. Over the next few months, Ryan became this constant background presence in our relationship. Sarah would get texts from unknown numbers that she'd delete immediately. She'd seem distant after checking her email, claiming he'd found another way to contact her. Once, she called me from a restaurant, voice shaking, saying she thought she'd seen him there. Could I come pick her up? I started changing my own behavior to accommodate her fear. We'd avoid certain places where she thought he might show up. I'd walk her to her car after dates, check the back seat before she got in. When she gave me Ryan's description and phone number, just in case, I blocked his number on my phone too. I wanted her to feel safe. The strangest part was how she talked about him. Even when she was describing his latest attempt to contact her, there was something in her voice I couldn't quite identify. Not fear exactly, more like fondness? But I told myself I was reading too much into it. Of course, she'd have complicated feelings about someone she'd dated for 2 years. About 4 months into our relationship, Sarah's laptop started acting up. She asked if I could help her back up some files before she took it in for repairs. She was at work, so I went to her apartment with my external drive. I'd used her laptop before, so I knew her password. I was just trying to be helpful, methodical about backing up her documents, photos, everything she'd need. That's when I opened her email client. The first folder I saw was labeled Ryan. I almost closed it immediately. It felt wrong to look through her private correspondence, especially about something that caused her so much stress. But something made me hesitate. The folder was huge. Hundreds of emails. And they were all recent. Messages from the past 6 months, right through the time we'd been dating. I opened the first one. It wasn't threatening or obsessive. It was sweet, nostalgic. Ryan writing about a song that reminded him of her, hoping she was doing well in her classes. Her response was warm, affectionate even. She told him about a book she'd read that she thought he'd enjoy, asked about his job. I scrolled through more emails, months of them. Sarah telling Ryan about her day, her worries, her dreams. Ryan being supportive, caring. Clearly still in love, but not in the desperate, dangerous way she'd describe. They were talking like friends, close friends, friends who still cared deeply about each other. Then I found the emails from 2 weeks ago. Sarah writing to Ryan about me. "I'm seeing someone new," she'd written. "He's nice, but he's not you. I think about you all the time. I dream about you. I know we can't be together right now, but maybe someday. Ryan's response was gentle but clear. He missed her too, but he thought she should give her new relationship a real chance. He didn't want to be the reason she couldn't move forward. I sat there in her apartment, staring at the screen, trying to reconcile what I was reading with everything Sarah had told me. This wasn't an obsessive ex who wouldn't leave her alone. This was two people who still loved each other, but were trying to do the right thing. And Sarah had been lying to me about all of it. I kept reading, even though every email felt like a small betrayal. Sarah asking Ryan if he thought she was making a mistake. Ryan encouraging her to be honest with me about her feelings. Sarah saying she couldn't, that I was too good to hurt like that. The fake emergency at the restaurant? She'd actually met Ryan for coffee. The mysterious texts from unknown numbers? They were planning these meetings, being careful not to leave evidence on her main phone. I backed up her files like I'd promised. I didn't confront her. I didn't print out the emails or save copies for myself. I just absorbed the information and tried to figure out what it meant for us. The next few days were strange. Sarah acted completely normal. Even mentioned getting another creepy text from Ryan. I found myself studying her face when she said it, looking for signs of the deception I now knew was there. She was a good liar. If I hadn't seen the emails, I never would have suspected. But I couldn't unknow what I knew. Every time she mentioned Ryan, every time she seemed distracted or distant, I wondered if they'd been talking. I wondered how many other things she'd lied about. I wondered if she'd ever really chosen me at all, or if I was just the safe option while she figured out what she really wanted. I started pulling away gradually. I didn't make a big scene or demand explanations. I just became less available. Took longer to respond to texts, made fewer plans. When she asked if everything was okay, I said I was dealing with some work stress, that I needed space. 2 weeks later, I ended it. I kept it simple. I didn't think we were right for each other. I wasn't ready for something serious. I hoped she'd find what she was looking for. Sarah cried and asked if we could try again, but I was already mentally gone. She never found out I'd seen the emails. Part of me wanted to tell her, to explain why I was really leaving, but what would have been the point? She'd have felt terrible, and I'd have felt like I was punishing her for something she probably didn't even realize she was doing. The truth is, I think Sarah loved Ryan the whole time we were together. I think she was trying to convince herself to move on, using me as evidence that she could build something new. Maybe she even believed her own story about him being obsessive. It's easier to vilify someone than to admit you're not over them. I don't hate her for it. People are complicated. Love is complicated. But I deserved someone who chose me clearly, without reservation, without having to lie to themselves about what they really wanted. Sometimes I wonder if she ever got back together with Ryan. I hope she did. I hope she stopped running from what she actually felt and gave herself permission to want what she wanted. As for me, I learned to pay attention to the stories people tell about their past. Not because everyone lies, but because sometimes the truth is in what they don't say as much as what they do.